Hello, past, present, or future engineers. My name is Warren Goodell, and I'll be one of the hosts for this brand new podcast. Joined with me is my co host.
Hello, my name is Derek Garcia, and I will be the co host of this series.
Today, to start off our InSPIREs podcast, we'll be talking to DaVinci's senior PMs.
Now, to get a groundwork, you may be wondering, what does InSPIREs stand for? Well, InSPIREs stands for Innovative System Project for the Increased Recruitment of Emerging STEM Students, and our goal is to design a payload for NASA.
That payload will join the University of Huntsville, Alabama's payload to Titan. Our PMs, otherwise known as project managers, will talk about their experiences. Let's have them introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Nina Segura, and I am this year's project manager for Team 1.
Hello, my name is Ignacio Carmona. I am the project manager for Team 2.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sebastian Veldas, and I'm the project manager for Team, you guessed it, 3.
Well, let's get this started with kind of a easier question. Before this, did you have any experience in leadership?
I actually did. When we did InSPIREs last year, I was also project manager, and there was a couple of other projects in school which I took part in. But outside of school, not much, really.
Last year, I was the chief engineer for the team, also in the InSPIREs Da Vinci. And also I have some experience in some projects here in Juarez, some associations from we give food to the people in this pandemic, and also in the environment things, and I am a leader in that things.
Okay.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, and just like Sebastian, I was also a project manager for last year's junior InSPIREs competition. And I mean, of course, there's projects within school, like our wedding projects or companies that we build ourselves. Other than that, nothing too serious for leadership experience.
Well, tell us about the wedding project.
Yeah, so the wedding project is actually one of the challenges that we had to do prior to competing in the InSPIREs project and stuff. It was assigned to us by our teachers, and it was kind of like a bit of a trial to get us prepared for the stress and high stakes of our InSPIREs competition. I know Sebastian was also in it, and Sebastian and Nacho Ignacio were also part of the competition. So maybe they could elaborate a little more.
Yeah, sure, I'll go ahead. Similar to InSPIREs, we also had project managers there, and that's also where I got a bit of experience. In our junior year, it was a bit more structured, so we were able to learn a bit quicker more about the process. And in senior year, now that we have a bit of an idea of what we're doing, it's a bit more open-ended, as in what sorts of businesses we could look into or try to do.
A lot more freedom.
Yeah, we will have a good experience doing that. It's like the Wayne Company were a difficult project, but we also get some experience for this project that is more important, I think.
Do you think that they did it on purpose to make it harder, to have it more open-ended?
Yeah, I think because they know the complex or the experience that they can give us for this project, and I think they help us at any moment, and I like that experience.
Really transferred over.
Yeah, and can you tell us how your teams did?
My team, for the Wendy company, we get the third place.
Nice.
Yeah, I got second for the wedding project. My team did get first place last year, and this year for our own candy company, we got second place.
Yeah, for this year I create a bull gym. That was the name of my project, and it was an ecological gym, and we get third place also.
In junior year, I believe I got second place, and in senior year, I got first place, I believe. So it's kind of the opposite of Luna, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the next question.
Now, what would you say your type of leadership is? Let's start with Ignacio. How do you lead as a PM?
I think I lead with the example. I always try to give the example to my coworkers, to my leaders, because I think that giving the example is like giving them how to work, and they always want to work with me. I am a good leader, I think, in that way, because I always help everybody in each of their positions.
I would say it's actually, for mine at least, it's pretty similar, but I kind of like to give people like a loose leash, you could say. I want them to be able to contribute to like every aspect of the competition. I don't just want to be ordering them around. Like, of course, I have to tell them to like keep on track, etc., and to not forget certain stuff. But I think overall we do get along pretty well, and everyone's able to just do their part with the same interest in the competition itself.
As for me, it's kind of hard to put into words because feel like I'd like to get involved in what my teammates are doing, like not just looking over what they do, but like taking part in what they do. So that way I can assure myself that it's being done well and that it's up to quality and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel like I would like to make sure that my teammates can explore options that they want to explore too, since I trust their judgment most of the time.
Now, Luna, with such a loose kind of PMing style / leadership style, has that ever been a problem?
There are times when, you give them a foot and they take a mile, but it's really not too hard to get people like, hey, like, like cool down a little bit and stuff. And it's really not, I've never had any major problem that like really affects our progress in the project or our performance, you can say. Like when it comes to the real uh, presentations or finally turning in something, everyone always seems to pull through and kind of work together. Yeah, just to do the best for the team.
Sounds good. Now, speaking of your team, was there any issues?
This year?
Well, I'll let Mr. Co-host go from there.
Yeah, this year, do you have any problems with your teams?
Well, no, actually, I don't. I mean, we just started, of course. It's like our first week or something, week two. It's been really good so far, actually.
How about
Yeah,
that?
I'd have. Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to agree with Luna because, again, it's pretty early, but so far it's been looking pretty good. In the future, I don't anticipate any issues coming up.
I think also that my team is a strong team, and they help me whenever I need their help. So I don't have any problem with them. They're a very good team, and I am very happy with them.
Well, that sounds great. So, as Luna mentioned, this is the early phase of Inspires, and we barely got our teams. And from what I understand, is actually you three decided your teams to kind of round robin picking. Could you tell me more about that? Let's start with Luna.
Football draft, even.
All right. So every year for Inspires, the three, sometimes 2 or 4 PMs, they get together along with our principal, Mr. Medina, and whoever's in charge of the class that year. In this case, and this year it was Mr. Hernandez. But we all get together in an office, and I would, like you mentioned, it's like drawing cards, and we really try to make balanced teams. Like we don't want to have just one super team, as they call it. We want everyone to be able to balance each other out and just make sure that everyone has like a good shot at working with each other. I know it was a little different for Sebastian since he was online. I don't know if he wants to elaborate on that.
It was. I wouldn't say it changed a whole lot not being in the room. Maybe I could have been able to make some points better or something, but being online wasn't as much of a problem as I thought it would be in picking teams.
I think for me, the most difficult part is to know who can work with who, because you know that some people can work with other people, and you want the best potential for every team, so you can win the competition. So I think that is the problem, but I think it is a good experience to choose your team to see who do you want to work. But I think also that a good leader needs to work with everyone. Like you can work with everyone. So I think picking teams are a very good experience.
Now, when you guys were picking teams, was there any choices that you wish you could have made, but some other PM stole it right from under you?
We have we have some people obviously that we want, but like I told you, we want to win all the three teams. So we try to give like all the people. We have to put it in different parts of the team. So I think we have like our preferences, but we know that all people can work in a very high potential.
Because Da Vinci is kind of a small school, so everyone knows everyone.
And everyone knows each other's faults or
Mhm.
strengths.
Would you say that's a benefit or a detriment?
I think it's a benefit because you can know everyone how they work better with whom, and how you can get the better position or the better things from them. So I think that is a benefit.
What about you,
Yeah.
Sebastian?
I'd also say it's a benefit because since I've been online this year, I've of course been able to speak well less with my peers, and in the middle of the decision process, I'm certain that there were a few times when I picked some team members and I was told like, no, these two people can't go together, or these two people would work better with each other, or things like that. And I'm glad that everyone else knew the people that were taking part in this project, because that was a huge benefit, just knowing how to make a good team.
And with previous experience of last year, I'm sure that helped a bit too, huh?
Mm-hmm. In fact,
And
this year
Luna?
I was. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
This year I was trying to either get the same team I got last year or get a completely different team and try to mix things up. And I feel like knowing the relationships between people and like how they've developed definitely changed that plan.
How did it
You
change?
get
Well, maybe some people no longer work that well with each other, or other people might work better with each other, new students, things like that.
Hmm.
what would you say? Would you have gotten a? Did you get a similar team or did you get a different team?
In parts similar, other parts different. For example, my leaders are largely similar, but the people under them a bit different.
Well, it's always good to try other new stuff out.
It's true.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like for last year, I know like the team that I had last year, I was also a leader, but I think that this year, like I work good with these people, but what if I work better with him or she? And I try new things. Like when I am choosing the people, choosing my team, I like to try new things. So that's why I think it's different also.
Seems Da Vinci has always had the success in the wild card category.
Luna, you were saying something before I cut you off. Go ahead and explain.
Um, I was, but I don't remember. But I do have to agree with Nacho that it's definitely nice to be able to change things up every year because I know last year Nacho was the chief engineer, I believe, and this time as a PM, it's different because we have different people to work with that, like Sebastian mentioned, new students and stuff. Like I know I have the same chief engineer as last year, which was Warren, our co-host, and I know he did really good, and I do really like. I really wanted to get new and different people along with some people I can trust as like pillars in the team, and with who can guide the new people because we do have some new people that are new to Inspires, so we do have to guide them around, which is all right. I think it's really great experience for the future that you get to work with these people to just guide them yourself, and then you can't always work with someone that is, I wouldn't say unpleasant, but slightly hard to work with. But it's really just part of the process that you learn to work with all different kinds of people, and you just learn, and it's great.
Just gotta roll with the
Yeah,
punches.
I think it's important to have a combination in the team, like people that you worked in the past and people new that to you that you want to work with it. So I think you need a combination in your team.
Interesting. So you all have kind of a similar mindset on that. So was there any arguments during the decision process?
Any standout picks that
Well,
made someone upset?
well, not arguments, but maybe just sometimes we just try to get someone that we want. But I think we work together like in a really good way. And any little problem or little argument in 5 seconds we have the resolution. So I think I will have to give a thank you. I have to tell thank you to Luna and Sebastian because they are very good PMs and they choose their teams in a very good way. Like it was too easy to be with them.
Ooh,
Oh,
high
thanks to
praise.
you. It was both of you that made the process easier.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
Oh.
definitely really interesting how we have a drafting almost, and there aren't any arguments, but there's certainly like tense moments where you're like you really want someone on your team, but of course so do the other two PMs, and I feel like these past 2 years, not to refer to people as just like playing cards, but there's this thing where it's if you let me take these two team members from you, I'll give you this one person. So it's definitely just like switching around people from PM to PM, and but yeah, I mean it's interesting like seeing how everyone reacts, and we try to reach a compromise while the teachers are kind of just looking on and making sure things don't get too out of hand at least.
now between you three PMs, what position was the most like sought after, or which one had the most like discussion? As you guys were
The
trying
chief
to
engineer.
choose. Oh, chief
Yeah, chief
engineer.
engineer.
Yeah, chief engineer.
Yeah, chief
Because
engineer.
it was a very competitive position, and all three people they were awesome. Like the three they were awesome, and like you don't know who to choose. You know, like there are
Mhm.
three very intelligent people, three great people. So everyone will be good. So the problem was who will choose. You know, like the three were
Mhm.
three great options.
A little
Yeah, definitely.
question for Luna. Did you all get the chief engineer you wanted?
Yes, I think in the end everyone was happy with their team, with their chief engineer. So yes, Warren, you don't have to worry. You are the chief engineer that I wanted. Okay.
Warren, what they're not saying is how many people they had to trade to get you.
Of course.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want
Yeah.
to know that.
If they know, then they're gonna know. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
I know.
So can you give us a little bit of behind the scenes in the making? Like how did you like decide like who chooses which person first and all that?
I bet it's a
Oh,
coin flip.
the other was first Sebastian, I think, then Luna, and then me, and then for the other one it was me, Luna, Sebastian, and like that. We were like turning the position in choosing.
Kind of like in poker, you're switching who the dealer was.
Yeah. No, and I have to say that I have the best data analyst.
Oh, I have the best PM.
Oh, thank you.
Mwah.
But yeah, that was the like the order to choose. Like one, it like 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1, and then like that. That was the order.
They gave first advantage to the guy online. I see. Sorry, Sebastian. Or I say,
Well,
congrats, Sebastian. Actually,
it was harder than you'd think because I'd spend an hour thinking about who to pick, and then I have to do it again. So
Must have been very, very tough in such a high tense situation. Because you know that your decision now would change the whole project in your mind for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
well, when you put it that way, it sounds a bit tense, but I feel like we all knew that we would all get good team members and that we were all confident that the people that we get would be useful and helpful.
Warren, please. They had it all written down on a piece of paper.
That's true.
Yeah, they knew
It's
ahead
like
of time. Now,
So
to change gears, right?
Yeah.
Luna, you are a female, correct?
Yes, that is correct, Aaron.
Now, do you know, out of all the 7 Inspires teams, you are the only female PM?
Really?
That is correct.
For the whole, like, juniors and seniors?
You are the only female PM.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Now,
Compared to last year, at least.
oh, how was last year?
Yeah. I think last year it was, I think last year we only had two
Yeah, also
male PMs.
too.
It was Jesus and it was or Jeffy and Sebastian, I think.
For female PMs?
No, for guy PMs last year.
Oh, okay.
For
Like, as you were like in the other side.
Oh, it's like flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was outnumbered last year.
It's quite a change. There's also less teams, am I correct?
Last year.
No.
Yeah. This year we have like 3 in the senior, and I think 4 on the junior, or 3. Like, we're more teams than last year, at least.
Yeah, currently we have 4 junior teams, 3 senior teams. The most.
Yeah, because
I think
last year were 2 senior and 3 junior. So this year we are more.
Now, Luna, being the only female PM, do you feel that presents any challenges, or it just doesn't even matter?
I'd say since once again the school is fairly small and we do kind of seem to know each other, I really don't think there's any issues, at least, that are directly correlated with my gender. But I would say that it's, well, actually, well, no.
Oh,
I mean,
the truth comes out.
well, there isn't really like any like juicy detail that I can give you, but it's not like,
Under lock and key, I see.
but yeah, I mean, it's not really something big, I would say, because I know that Sebastian and Ignacio are both like also really good PMs, and I know that, well, I don't really have to worry too much with them or something. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can give me a little more context for the question, and I can
I think that
think
was
about it a little more.
I think it was perfect. Perfect context.
All right.
Quite interesting take. So you don't find like there's any like small microaggressions, or you're just all friends doing this project for fun?
No secret sexism?
Not any secret sexism that I notice, at least. Not directly with our school teams, at least. Maybe if you look at STEM careers in the like a larger view, then yeah, of course, but not like at school, I would say.
Do you plan on going down the engineering route for your job and your career?
You know, I did for some time. I really wanted to be an environmental engineer, but unfortunately, I do not want to be that anymore. I want to study political science. But I think it definitely gave me a really good background for how to lead teams, at least if I'm looking to go into politics, which is something that I really appreciate from other NASA projects that I've done, and along with InSPIREs.
Interesting.
Inspires applies to all. It doesn't only have to apply to engineering. You learn very valuable skills.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
Does anyone want to talk about what kind of valuable skills they picked up?
Well, I think I'll go ahead. Before InSPIREs, I didn't really lead any important projects, like I might have done a couple of group presentations with friends and stuff, but I never really led a group of people that I didn't mostly know. And I feel like InSPIREs helped me get a bit more used to that, because I used to get extremely nervous, but now I feel pretty confident among my team members.
Yeah, I think Spurs is a whole life experience, like it's a different part of school, and it's a different experience for me, I think. Like, people that you never know, like sometimes I don't talk to some people that I think we don't have like that same social circle, but with Inspires, you have to talk with them, and you know people that is awesome. Like you know people that is funny, is good worker, and it's awesome to work with them. So I think that is a whole good experience and new for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Very nice. Do you have any more questions for them, Derek?
I do indeed. Now, as it has come up a few times throughout this interview slash podcast, um, it seems that online has been a real big aspect of this year's, let's say, Inspires. And has COVID affected anything about Inspires or your leadership or anything like that? Has the pandemic affected anything here?
Well, I think I'll start. Back last year when the pandemic started and we had to shift from in-person to online, I'd say that that shift in and of itself was a bit of a challenge, like just getting used to it, because I just spent 3 months getting used to Inspires, and I had to do it all over again. But this year, having started online, I'm not seeing that many issues. I thought perhaps there would be issues with having some people in person and some online, but the way that we do things, I feel like I can just treat them all as the same kind of people and like not really have to worry about, oh, is this person going to be available or things like that. So this year, now that I'm used to it, I'd say it's not affecting me that much.
Okay.
I will be honest with you. I think COVID affects anything. So for me, I think it's not affecting me like a lot, but I think it's not the same. You know, like it's not the same to have all your people or your coworkers in the team here. Like anything, it's more easy to tell them. It's more easy to watch your faces. You know, like everything from the work, it's getting a little bit, I think, difficult from last year in the first phase that we have all in physical. But I think that's the only part that when you work with a team, like watch them every day in school, it's more easy for me. I think.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Nacho, Ignacio. Like it's definitely it really threw not this year at least, but towards the end of last year, it really threw a whole like a wrench into everything because while sure we're able to adapt and everyone's working fine now, it's definitely going to be a little hard to get meetings where everyone can be connected and engaged at the same time. Whereas I could just before pre-COVID, I could just walk, well, not obviously like with being considerate with their time, but you can just walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, I need you to do this," or make sure you're doing that. And now you have to send a text, and then sometimes they're busy, etc. So I do feel it's definitely easier to contact someone in person, but we're quickly adapting, and we quickly adapted last year with the abrupt change. But um, well, yeah, I guess it's just different, but everyone's doing fine so far, at least.
Well, for me, I can definitely say that being online is a little bit harder to interact with the different teams and kind of have a sharing of ideas since we're not exactly competing against each other. We're kind of working together to all get first place. For me, I would definitely say that it's a little bit kind of a barrier blocking uh, the transfer of ideas. But you're all at school. Does that really, or half of you are at school?
Yeah, Luna
Does
and me.
that,
Luna and me, we're
yeah,
at school, and Sebastian is online.
right. So, Sebastian, do you find that you're going to have a harder time kind of sharing ideas with each other?
So you made a very good point that I didn't consider in my response to my previous because I feel like being online, I have less opportunities for like small talk among people that I wouldn't normally talk to. And so that sort of limits a bit of the transition of ideas. But I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be a huge issue because I do have some friends that I talk to regularly in other teams. So even if I don't get to talk to random team members or anything, I at least have a perspective on what the other teams are doing or how they're doing things. And so there's a bit of a transfer of ideas, just not the same level as it was, you know.
Much less for
I
sure.
think I think I have like for this week. The first 2 days I was like in my house because for a injury in my knee. So I think I have experience in both like online and physical. And I think it will be the same because at physical there are not like from my team there are like two people just two people or three. So then if everyone is online, I think it's the same. You know, like for Sebastian or for Luna, for me, even if we are physical and Sebastian is online, I think it will end up to be the same because all the team they are online. So
Yeah, he's right.
I don't get
Oh,
a lot of difference.
yeah, like I definitely a good portion of my team is actually in person. So I'm like super grateful to be able to have that. And although all of my team leaders are online, I think it's easier to just contact my leaders through Zoom, and then I can have everyone else that's in person with me, and I can just be checking on them quite often to make sure that everything's going all right. And but yeah, that's something that I didn't notice until after I selected my teams, but everyone was pretty much there with me in the classroom. And well, I mean, I know Nacho has his team online, but it's definitely made it a little easier to contact everyone and to be able to work with everyone.
So you kind of subconsciously chose your team based off of who's in person.
Yeah, you're right.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Has been your leaders being online and your workers offline? Has that interfered with your work at all?
I would say it definitely, it's really hard, like you mentioned, Warren, to get leaders and workers to collaborate all at the same time. So I'm having to get like my team leaders to contact their um, workers or those that are working with them separately, like through text and stuff, because it's like there are a lot of sections for our team identity where we need our outreach team to figure that out, but so many of them are in person while our team leader is online. My outreach leader is online, and it's a little hard to get everyone to collaborate. But I know I've been talking with Andrea, who is my outreach leader, who's been doing like she's been doing good, and I know that I can see that she's doing good work too. So it's definitely a little harder that to have my leaders online, but I am sure that they're able to deal with this because I mean I feel like I picked good team leaders.
Trying to make sure there isn't a separation of ideas along the way.
Hmm.
Very interesting. So what is it like at school under COVID conditions?
Has it really affected
I
anything?
think I think just like some rules in school, like the hallways you have just they're like one way only. But maybe the convivence because we are like if last year we have a small group of people in Da Vinci, this year is more like 80% smaller. You know, like it is different, but for me, I think it is a different experience. And like I told you, different experience they are also good. So you learn how to talk with other people, how to talk with people that sometimes you never known, but right now they are the option that you have there, and you always can know different people that they're us. So for me, that's the different part.
So we've touched on it a bit. So currently it is Ignacio, Luna who are in school, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sebastian online.
Yes.
And has this affected you in in class, all that? Has the whole online, offline kind of thing really affected a lot?
not just in Inspires in like all your classes.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's easier like to be physical than online. Like I think I learn more when I am with a teacher, like in a physical way. Like I have them there. I have a better, like I say, a very school learning for me, and I think I do the work like in a better way when I am in the physical classes.
Yeah, I
Because
would have
always,
to agree. Oh,
oh, because always
no, go ahead.
okay, because always at your house you will have distractions. Like you can be on your bed, you can be on anything. You have your TV, so you always have distractions, even if you don't want. Like the distractions are there. So for me, I think the school is better.
Very nice. What were you saying, Luna?
Yeah, that I would have to agree. I definitely enjoy being in person more. Uh, just a personal preference, being able to I wouldn't say hang around because we do still have to social distance, of course, but you're able to talk more directly with your friends at least because sometimes it's a little hard to communicate tone through just like a Zoom chat, and sometimes it's a little limited because the teachers disable personal messages to your friends and stuff, which is their business. But I, I definitely like being in person more, and I do think I can pay attention, like focus more. Since at home it's like Ignacio said, there's a lot of distractions. But at school, it's a school setting, and you get used to your schedule. Like the bell rings, you go to your next class, like you wipe down your table, etc. You speak with your teachers, you can go to the counselors. But I'm really enjoying being in person more.
With all these benefits, like interaction, all that, do you ever fear that the looming threat ever gets to you, the COVID in school? Is there any of those fears that run through you guys' minds?
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes.
well,
I
I'm not.
know. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm not exactly in person. As we said, I'm online. But whenever I've had to go to the school for whatever business, such as fetching something, I'm always extremely nervous, and that's really the reason why I'm online. So I'd say I'm nervous about that. But I'm guessing Ignacio and Luna are a bit more comfortable, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like I know that there is possibilities of COVID always, like at any time, not just at school.
True.
But I also think that we have to live with that. Like we have to learn to live with COVID, with the pandemic. So the fear at first, I was fear, yeah, I have fear, yeah. But now I think I control that. Like from the experiences that I have, I control that fear. And right now, I think I am very comfortable at school. And like I think that the school always has good mm, cleaning. After every class, we need to clean our desk with the ISO and all that. So I think it is very secure.
So,
I wouldn't
go
I
ahead.
would disagree. Yeah, I wouldn't say I disagree, but I do definitely. There's of course the fear of, because sometimes when we're younger, especially, I mean, the younger kids, it's not really going to be us. Okay, well, that's not really the point. But there's always, of course, the fear of uh, encountering someone with COVID at school. But I definitely think that like the cleaning your desk and being separate from each other, they're all right. But I do understand like those who have at-risk people at home, etc. That really just trying to stay at school, and it's everyone can just work with everyone, whether it be online and in person. Like we can adapt. We've been adapting, and we can adapt further for as long as we need, right? And but I don't think it's anything that impedes my work at school. Not too much, at least.
And that I agree. And I would love to go back to school, but unfortunately, one of my family members is highly susceptible, so I'm kind of forced here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I always like school is better for me also because I like to talk with my friends. Even if it's two people that is at school, I like to talk with them. Like I love to socialize with everyone, so that's fine.
So, Sebastian, Luna and Ignacio have made several points on how being at home can be very distracting. Would you necessarily agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that because sometimes I find myself in class and since I'm in front of my computer and everything, I can just like play a game or something and I'm not in school, so no one's going to notice. I of course do this very rarely, like when I'm done with assignments or anything, but I feel like if I were in school and if I finished an assignment, I would get ahead on other assignments, but at home, I just don't use that time as efficiently as I would have in school.
Of course, we don't condone skipping school to play games.
Don't worry.
I would never skip the school. It's just whenever I'm done with an assignment.
Of course, of course. So we don't condone any bad behavior.
No, of course. We condone only the best.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's a whole different experience, I think.
Yeah, it's very jarring, especially so Sebastian Warren, like going from online school for 11 grades to immediately swapping to wait, what did I say? Going to school physically for 11 grades and then swapping to online is very jarring, at least for me. And I don't know, Sebastian or Warren have anything on that?
Yeah.
Maybe
sure.
for people from homeschool that is easy, but but for us it was very difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
understand that.
strange.
I also learn
I
much
think also
better.
for teachers.
Hmm?
Also for teachers, that was very difficult. Like for teachers to know how to keep lessons throughout their house or through Zoom is difficult for them also. So the patience I think they have for us, it's great.
Yeah. So I know for myself, I personally learn a lot better in person, and I have a very hard time learning online, and that certainly has affected my grades. But as Derek, I also have multiple people in my family who are very susceptible to COVID, so I have to stay in person, or not in person, online. Uh, can you kind of explain what the teachers do? Because I know they're kind of more forced to be in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're first. Like they have to like they start the Zoom session. They talk to the Zoom session to some people, and then to us. Like they are combining each of the both of the elements, like online and physical. And like I said, I think for them that is difficult, but like from the time is passing, like it will be easier for us, you know.
Do you ever feel that one group gets more attention than the other?
Yes.
Sometimes,
Or
yeah.
yeah, like I would say, I know for some of my classes, like the teachers that I've had for multiple years, and since we are a small class, like I've known some of my classmates since like the fourth grade, and we get along with the teachers, and I do know that at least when the teachers leave us like work time, I would call it. It's definitely like mute the Zoom, and then we just kind of talked amongst ourselves with the teacher, and I mean, of course, it sucks because the online kids are kind of left out, but it's a little hard to incorporate, like make sure that the microphone hears everyone in the classroom, and then for us to hear everyone in the Zoom class. And there are some teachers like I know Miss Reyes has it like full volume, where we can hear the Zoom class, but I know that they can't really hear us, so it feels like a little intrusive that we can hear them, but they can't hear us. But in regards to teaching, I think it's fairly similar, I would say.
But also, what something that I want to add: the face mask. That is horrible. Like have a face mask for 8 hours a day is horrible. Like there is not good, but we have to use it. You know, like health is first. even if we don't like it, it's important. But yeah, 8 hours a day with that thing, it's not good.
It's better to be uncomfortable than incredibly sick.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Must hurt your ears a lot.
I guess if you get the right ones, you kind of get used to it, I suppose.
See, what Warren isn't telling everyone is that he's one of those psychopaths that wears one of those weird masks.
The one with designs.
When I was working for the food bank over the summer, I had to wear a
Oh,
mask
yeah.
that had straps for ears, and that hurt my ears a lot. So I bought one of those masks that kind of just slipped over your face, didn't have any like attachments, and just kind of stuck to it.
Oh, like the the bandana ones.
Not bandana, kind of kind of like a tube shirt or like a turtleneck
Yeah, like a
that
really
goes
long
Yeah.
turtleneck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know which ones. Oh, those have I would say a bit of a stereotype behind them.
Oh,
Oh
what's the
yeah,
stereotype? Oh.
I've
You
had
know,
several of my friends send me memes about being, hey, what looks racist but isn't racist, and they sent me the picture of my mask.
yeah,
Another thing he isn't
that's
telling
funny.
you guys is that it always slips off his nose. Always.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
always put it
horrible.
back on, of course.
Oh, of
I
course, yeah,
never
but
leave it off my nose.
it's always funny. Just Warren like frantically trying to put it back.
You do theater though, right? You go to school uh for like what is it, practice? I don't
Yeah,
know.
rehearsal for an hour, and I
Rehearsal.
wear
Yes.
the ones with the ear loop since it's not that long and it doesn't hurt my ears.
He,
Oh, okay, that's
he has a
cool.
nice fancy green mask for when we go to theater.
Yeah.
I've
School
seen you
spirit,
wear
huh?
like I think you wear like design ones, isn't it? I think it was like a frog or something.
I used to wear a beak, and then I wear
Oh, right.
a Christmas tree one now, cause I gotta stay
Okay.
festive at all times.
Yes. And speaking about face masks, it's kind of funny, but sometimes you walk around and you see people that are like wearing it upside down,
What?
and it's like, yeah, like not to call out anyone, but their name starts with a W and it ends with Warren. So, this guy that I know named Warren walked to the office one day with
Well,
his mask upside down. But, it's kind of funny.
Oh, we lost someone. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Um, but yeah, no, that was a complete accident, and I don't think it really mattered too much.
it's honestly more impressive that it wasn't super uncomfortable that you didn't notice.
Well, I kind of just sometimes feel uncomfortable and then just get distracted and ignore it because I am too distracted.
Ignore the problem. I like it.
Exactly.
It's never once went wrong.
No.
No,
We do
no.
not suggest this way with dealing with your problem. We're all just having fun.
Disclaimer: do not ignore problems. Usually goes wrong. Or
Most of the time, anyways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're your own life. You don't listen to 4-5 people on a podcast.
So let's kind of get back in track.
Oh, right.
So, do you kind of have any ideas on how the project will turn out? Let's start with Luna, since unfortunately Ignacio has technical difficulties.
He went
Right.
completely.
I have absolutely no idea. I am hoping for the best. I'm definitely learning from mistakes that I made last year as a PM, and I know I'm already stressed, and I know that I'm going to end extremely stressed. But I think that's just part of the whole project, the whole point of the project, why we do Inspires, that dealing with the stress itself. But I'm already looking forward. Well, not looking forward, but I'm already preparing for the late nights and perhaps all-nighters that I may pull or we may pull for the project.
Like making a podcast at 10 p.m. because of 1 p.m. in this call.
Well, you see, there are times where there are other things we have to do,
Of
but
course.
Yes, it is. But thank you for, accommodating.
Well, I mean, we don't know who it is, truly. I mean, it's a mystery.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know.
No, not at all.
An
Yeah, we should
enigma.
leave it anonymous.
So, what about you, Sebastian?
Well, very similar to Luna. I'm hoping for the best, but in reality, I have no clue. Because so far, not a single problem has come up, and I hope that's been the same for all the other teams. But I never really had to deal with a major problem during COVID leadership, so I'm kind of wondering what am I going to do if a problem shows up, and that's kind of stressful. And then there's the stress of the project, and by May, my hair is going to go white.
Oh,
I hate for that to happen.
I would too.
he would look good with white hair, though.
I would think so too.
Well, first he'd
Oh,
have
thank
to
I
you.
agree.
grow some
Mhm.
back. Looks like his little poor skeleton went bald.
Oh,
So,
I'm working.
both of you kind of have a one foot in front of the other type mentality. Is that correct?
I'd say so.
Mhm.
Very optimistic PMs.
Do you think you'll be taking first place this year?
Of course, no doubt about it.
Now,
I wish I could be that confident, but yeah, let's hope for that.
Confidence is key.
if it comes to it,
Come
will-
on, Sebastian.
oh,
We're from Da Vinci and we're seniors. We're gonna get first place.
That's true.
You say that, but I've definitely seen seniors get crushed. But you know what?
Have you?
Oh, no, never.
Oh, thank you for the optimism. That really
Yeah,
helps.
wow. That's really boosting your spirit.
My co-host is the optimist. I'm the realist, my friends.
Yeah,
Oh, good cop, bad cop now.
Oh, of course.
Same brain, same brain.
Exactly. Same brain, same mind. Same last name. If you take away letters and just leave the G's.
Yeah, copy and paste.
Whoa.
It's true.
I just got a negative result for COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah,
Ooh, hey, look, this podcast comes with good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And may anyone who watches this have their COVID test come back negative.
Put in the comments, tell us about it. Tell us about how you got a 0 negative COVID test and how you're living the good life. Put in the comments.
Well, you're asking me, right?
Nah, I mean, I was just making a statement, actually.
Okay.
But
All right.
I would want to ask both you PMs right now. If it comes to it, will you strike down the junior team?
If it comes down to it,
without remorse.
of course.
It's him or me. The world will never be the same. Come on.
Exactly.
See?
That's true. We don't know
they
what
need to learn.
against.
Because hopefully this is a cooperative project, but as you said, if it comes down to it.
Listen, they set it up against themselves, We didn't want to, but...
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, of course. We'd like to avoid it, but
They shouldn't have had so many teams to compete with us. It's really their fault, really.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's the PM reasoning I like to hear. But I have a little fun segment. Let's go with Sebastian first. Sebastian, would you like to say something to your future self when we re-review you in the future about how you're feeling this project's gonna go? Would you like to say anything to your future self?
Huh.
Any warnings?
Well, by the time I reached my future self, I would have gone through the warnings, so...
You think that, but, in the heat of the moment, you've said you've never been faced with a real problem. How do you know you'll remember your own warnings?
Fine. Just don't do anything rash, I guess.
Okay.
Going for the cautious approach.
Exactly. Work with your team members.
Oh, I can't wait to replay these sound clips in the future and see how that went.
I'm gonna love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's like one of those time capsules.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but with nostalgia and misery.
What about you, Luna?
future words for myself after Inspires.
Or I guess the last week of Inspires is when we
the last
this.
week of Inspires. I mean, well, good luck, I suppose. I know when I listen to this, I'm gonna be laughing because I'm gonna be so stressed and I'm gonna be like, what are you thinking? Why would you apply for a PM again? But, I hope everything's all right. I hope we win and I hope no one's disappointed.
By laughing, you mean crying because of the stress, right?
Yes, of course. Of course, stress crying,
Yeah,
everyday
same difference.
thing.
Every day. I mean, honestly, even in online classes, I hear you weeping away. Honestly, I mean, oof.
Yeah, I mean, I try to hide it, but I need you guys to understand what I'm going through for this team.
I know.
But of course, Inspires is very fun.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. Don't be discouraged. It's a great experience.
This is a one action of one's way to relieve stress.
It's
That
it's it's
totally
great
is
in
what
the
she does.
objective sense.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
totally cries all the time.
Would you give any advice to the future PMs? Let's start with Luna.
Oh,
Oh, I have so much, like especially for the juniors. Okay, so please don't leave everything to the last minute. I'm sure Warren can back me up on this. But if you have problems with your payload, especially if you're penetrating the ground, please be careful with the shape of your payload and keep in mind the density of the atmosphere. Because then you're
Yeah.
gonna go crazy. And not just yourself, but your chief engineer and your design leader are gonna be ripping their hair out. So,
Remember those
you
one
know,
o'clock conversations,
what
and they
o'clock
weren't one
calls
o'clock PM.
with Derek chiming in just as company.
hey,
You didn't even need to be there.
as a DA,
Hmm.
my job is and was past and present to be loving, accountable, and I don't know, data.
Data. Yeah, you did
Yeah.
great. You did
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And wait, I think I have one more thing. Um, don't stand up when everyone introduces themselves for your team leadership kind of web, I would call it. You don't have to stand up from your desk, okay? You can just do it sitting down because then if people stand up, it's going to be super awkward. So don't do that, okay?
See,
Sounds like we have.
I actually need to step in on that one. There needs to be more context here. When you guys are presenting, right? This is to all
Hmm.
the juniors, future, whoever listens. When you guys are presenting, and she's absolutely right. Do not stand. It just causes so many more problems, and especially if the desks are shaped in like a round table kind of. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just plant your bottom right on that seat. Stay comfortable.
Yes. And please,
Sage wisdom.
It's
yes.
all three of the junior teams, us who are now seniors. We did it last year. The whole standings fiasco. Oh my god,
Hmm.
it was
That
painful.
was. And also remember that you say analyze and not analyze because that's going to be something that people are going to make fun of you for, Warren.
Scars. Well, let's go on to the next person, Sebastian. Any advice?
Any advice? Well, something that I relied on very heavily last year was sending emails to the higher ups up in Inspires. For example, we had no idea what material to make our thing out of, so we just asked them. They gave us some really good ideas to work with, and that worked out great. So if you ever have doubt, literally just ask. Ask the PMs, will help you. Ask Pratik, Aubrey, and Matt, they'll help you. There's really nothing stopping you.
Actually, that's a good thing we never really talked about. Who are those people you just mentioned at the end?
Future special
Pratik, Matt, and
guests.
Aubrey. Exactly, future special guests. Interview them in that episode.
I guess we'll leave it a mystery.
Little breadcrumbs.
Exactly, gotta bring them back.
Of course, gotta reel them in.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I'd like to thank all of you for coming today. It's been a wonder having you.
We did
Thank
unfortunately
you.
lose one of the PMs, but
He did great. So this will be the end of our first episode of our InSPIREing podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'd like to thank the Crowdsource Productions for making this possible.
That is correct. The Crowdsource Productions is sponsoring this podcast. I would also like to thank them. They are wonderful people. Chef's kiss.
Well, I hope you learned a
Interesting.
lot. I hope you will continue to learn a lot and enjoy your future inspired. Any last words?
Closing arguments.
Closing arguments. Nope. Just a lot of fun, and I look forward to listening to this by the last week of Inspires.
Ooh.
Well, my last words. Good luck on starting the year.
Oh.
That's nice.
Luna with the down, Sebastian with the up, and me with the goodbye. Thank you, everyone. It was fantastic. You're all amazing.